There we go. Been having some weird issues with the camera today. Anyways, I like how Captain Marvel just kind of keeps hanging out with the team. Except he wasn't invited. Poor bait. Poor Billy. So Artemis just now figures out the coupling. At this point, I think the only person who hasn't actually figured that out is Wally. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he has, in fact, figured it out. He's just in denial. So they go to do a girls' night out. Okay, I'm with that. This leads us to a scene that I have to admit made me laugh quite a bit. Bully guy, I can't even think of his name. In fact, I don't know if they've said his name. The big guy at the Halloween party is Superman done right. And he's dressed like the Superboy outfit from, the comic Death of Superman. Or actually, the Return of the Reign of the Superman. I think that's the specific arc. The worst Superboy outfit. That caught me. Anyways, there's a nice bit where they're discussing whether or not there's a mole. And there's two nice bits about it I wanted to comment on. First, Robin is about to share what he knows about Artemis, and Bats shuts him down immediately and hard. Why? She's entitled to secret identity. That's all he has to say. It's a nice bit because she is. She is entitled to her secrets. Bats, of all people, would understand that, just like Robin would, too. So notice neither of them really pursue that particular matter. In fact, Bats is most suspicious of Superboy, which, makes a lot of sense. The camera even lingers on Red Tornado when they make the comment, he could be a mole and not know it. Which brings me to my theory. I think it's Red. Now, I'm going to explain my logic here real quick, and please don't answer. Well, I mean, I guess you can answer in the comments whether I'm right or not. I'd rather you not spoil in comments like this. But by the time these go live, I'll have finished the series, so you're not going to spoil me, basically. The reason I think it's Red is because attention has been put on everyone else. We saw Red Tornado, but he was disconnected. Robin? Yeah, no. Wally? Again, no. Kaldur? He's got something going on, but I don't think he's it either. All three of them have been addressed. All four of them, I should say, have been addressed. That leaves Artemis, McGann, Superboy, and Red Arrow. Superboy could be programmed, and probably is programmed. But for some reason, I don't think that's the direction they're taking that arc. His character threads have been all about other unrelated things, thematically to that. Artemis? Too obvious. She has some dark, horrible past, and it is something that troubles her. Even in this very episode, she still can't open up to Zatanna. It's actually a point. She still keeps her secrets. But that doesn't make her the mole. In fact, it actually makes her one of the least likely people to be the mole. At the absolute worst, she would be a reluctant mole, because she doesn't want to be. She's even had multiple circumstances where we've had the camera on her alone, and she has admitted that her new adopted family is one she's not going to let go of. And we've already established that she's the kind of person who is not going to walk out on people. So it's not Artemis. So that leaves McGann and Red. Now, I don't think it's McGann, or Megan if you prefer. I just, the way that she's going, her secrets and her backstory seems more inclined towards, how do I phrase this? Innocently guilty, where naivete and lack of understanding have led her to circumstances that seem suspicious because she has done something that she knows to be wrong, especially given how she's reacted at several cases of this, but not really wrong. We're talking like, I accidentally stole a few cookies out of the cookie jar, not I murdered my sister in cold blood to get a sword. There's a gradient difference between those two types of wrong. So by logical deduction, it has to be Red Arrow. The problem is, I have no idea why. So that's my theory, and I just wanted to share that in my thought process going into that. But that is my prediction as of now. Oh, and I suppose there's also the option there is no mole, but no, I think there's a mole. So, a bunch of stuff happens. Why is there so much violent crime happening on Halloween night? Is that just usual? I mean, someone is obviously feels safe enough to walk in the park by herself, and yet then she gets jumped by four guys. Like, there's just some weird dissonance going on here. I get that they wanted to show Zatanna and Artemis, having fun and unwinding, but three major crimes, two of which involved a frickin' gun? Come on. It's just, it's ridiculous. 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 It's ri In one night? This city needs some new police. Holy crap. Anyways, um, then there's this nice bit. You did not just threaten my dad. It is interesting. I only have one thing to say about Harm. He goes out of his way to maintain a deliberate disassociativeness, trying to basically engineer himself into being a full sociopath, aka, as he calls it, pure. Someone who doesn't care about anything and is blah, 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 pure evil. The problem is, as the sword shows, you can become pure, and that also means you can become impure. Now, that makes sense, but I point that out because a lot of fiction tends to treat that as an absolute value. By nature of who you are at your core, you are or you aren't. And no matter what happens on the surface, and however much you change as an individual, your core still remains the same. This posits the idea that it's the surface, the changing element of what you are, that determines whether or not you are pure or not, since he does lose the sword at the end after becoming impure. But he maintains that disassociativeness so that he can keep himself from feeling anything. And I get the very strong feeling that he works really hard to maintain that. Don't mistake this for sympathy. He's a scumbag who deserves to die. But I very strongly get the idea that he wanted this great power for whatever reason. No motive is ever given. And he's tried to do this, and he just wasn't. He was not good enough. He couldn't do it. So he's like, okay, no problem. I'll kill my sister, and then I will refer to myself for the third person and constantly call other people it's, and overemphasize it over and over until, with enough repetition, it'll actually become true. Of course, he drops that third person and loses his maintenance, and then loses the sword. And poor Artemis still can't help but keep her secrets. Quick aside, there was one bit in this episode which actually made me laugh quite hard. Marvin the Martian shows up. I'm amazed they got away with that, by the way. And does the Godzilla roar. That got me. I'll see you next time, guys.